Hello. I'll give you the visual first and then the voice comes across. Get your attention. How are you getting on? Vincent Kelly here. Thanks very much everybody for joining me on the webinar tonight. And this is about procrastinating, and you're going to find this very interesting. And I decided, you know what, we're not going to put this off any longer. We're going to do this webinar tonight. Bad joke, I know. Anyway, hello to everybody on Facebook, hello to everybody on Instagram and on YouTube. And it's great to have you on board. If you have any comments tonight, if you have any questions, you can pop them into your little comment section there on YouTube, Facebook and Instagram. And then for everybody on Zoom, you'll see me looking this way for quite considerable amounts of time because you're all in front of me here. So I want to welcome you personally to the webinar tonight. I want to say hello to Deb, hi Lana, Barbara, Julia, Paul, and Sonia. Hi Sonia. Well folks, it's absolutely great to have you on board. And the usual thing I do at the start of my webinars, and anybody who has already been on my webinars will be able to predict what I'm going to say next. But normally I like to find out where people are logging in from. So if you don't mind popping into the chat where you're logging in from, what city or what country you're logging in from, that would be fabulous, because then I get to see where you are. Hi Deb. Yeah, I've got everybody's mic turned off because when I turn on the mics, everybody talks within each other and it gets a bit messy. So it's much better to have them all not quiet, but controlled, as in it's all in writing. Right, Lana from Dublin. Hi Lana, great to have you. Anybody else want to pop in to the chat there? Just a little typey. It'll be your first practice exercise tonight. Where are you logging in from? I have a feeling somebody might be from Scotland, and then somebody else from up Donegal, I think maybe, but I could be wrong. Anyway, anybody else want a chance? Type it into the chat. Where are you logging in from? Barbara from Dublin. Hiya Barbara. Great to have you. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. And no other takers just yet. Well, maybe you're typing away. Okay folks, let's get started. So first of all, thank you so much for giving me your time tonight. I'm going to make it worth your while. You're giving me your time, so I'm going to give you something back. Okay? The webinar will probably be about 45 minutes long. Yes, Paul, I suspected. Donegal, beautiful Donegal. Thank you for coming, Paul. Be about 45 minutes. I do want you to stay until the end, because at the end I've got this special thing I want to show you, and it's kind of like a kind of little offer thing. Okay? That's that. If you're also watching television while you're watching the webinar, if you don't mind turning off the television, it would be just fantastic, because you know there have been people, friends of mine, who watch my webinars with one eye and watch football with another. So I'm going to ask for your full attention during this webinar, just so that you can get the full data. Okay? What else do I want to say? Yeah, a little bit about myself. I've been basically working in this area of self-improvement for over 25 years, particularly on this subject that I'm going to discuss tonight. I started when I was in college. I studied business studies and personnel management in university in Dublin, and I went traveling, ended up in Germany, and I was always interested in how to actually help people effectively. And I didn't like to see people unhappy. I want people to do well. And so I came across this subject. I fell in love with it. I found that it was workable. I found that it helped people. I found that it was easy to understand, easy to apply. Bang. And I've stuck with it. And I've been doing this now for 25 years. I've done lots and lots of lectures, webinars. I've been helping people on a one-to-one basis for many, many years. Yeah, loads and loads of stuff. And so I want to just give you the opportunity to find out a little bit about some of the things that you can use on an immediate basis. Okay, so who hopped in the back door there? Aaron, thank you very much for coming. And Karina, great to have you as well. Thank you so much for being here. Right then, folks. So, procrastination. I am guilty of it. I have procrastinated in the past. I don't know of anybody who hasn't. Procrastination, putting it off until tomorrow. You know it needs to be handled, but you leave it until tomorrow or next week or next year or next whatever. I myself have got myself into numerous situations in the past where I have said, darling, yes, I will call up the electrical company and I'll get us a cheaper rate in electricity next year, definitely. And then when the time comes, I haven't done it. I didn't do it. And my wife has asked me, Vincent, what's the story with the electricity bill? I thought you said you were going to do it. I'm like, oh no. So that's just a small example. So it can result in pain. But, there's so many things that I've, in the past, opportunities that I tell you know what, I must ring up that person or I must talk to that person about something. For example, there was an old guy that I used to know, and a very nice guy lived down the road, and he was in hospital, and I really liked this guy, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to go and visit him. But I said, I'm not going to do it today, I'll do it tomorrow. I kept putting it off and kept putting it off, and then he died in hospital, and I never actually got to have the conversation. So procrastination can be on small things, but can also be very, very bad things as well, and it can lead to problems. And for me, it has led to missed opportunities and unhappiness at certain times in the past because of not actually doing what I knew I should have done, So what I'd like to ask you is, why are you here? You came to this procrastination webinar. I don't know, maybe it was the little leaflet or the picture that caught your eye. What I'd like to find out from you now, this is your first exercise of the webinar, is this. Where does procrastination affect you in your life? Where does it affect you in your life? Let me just rephrase it. What kind of things do you put off doing? Is it housework? Is it handling relationships? Is it things in work? Is it, I don't know, what is it? Is it business things that you want to get into? What are the kind of things that you put off doing that you shouldn't really be put off doing? Anybody want to give me an example? You don't have to participate, by the way, but and I never put pressure on people to do that. You don't, honestly, you don't. But if I will ask you for examples during the webinar, if you can give me a couple of examples, it's fine. It'd be great because I like to get the feedback. If not, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. And if I move on and I miss your comment, I will come back to it because I check this all the time. So the question was, what kind of things do you put off doing? Okay, and then we will launch straight into it. Oh, look at me. I put off, I'm going to use this a lot, it's a dry joke. I have a very dry sense of humor. I put off looking at the chat. Okay, Sonia, goals. Let me just scribble these down so I don't forget them. Goals, okay? Actually working on your goals. Thank you, Sonia. Things you know you should do. Paul, definitely the things you mentioned about bill and things to do at the house. Yeah, okay. Bill. Interesting. The guy's name was, now believe this or not, Paul, the guy's name was actually Bill. Very good. Okay, house and bills. Oh, you were talking about bills, but actually the guy that I didn't visit in hospital, his name was Bill. Anyway, that's fine, coincidence. Deb, my husband and 3 sons procrastinate. My husband started to remodel my kitchen 5 years ago, Deb. 5 years. My wife knows how you feel. She does. It's 3/4 done. House project. I've been asked, Vincent, when are you going to finish the painting in the kitchen? Darling? Yeah, I've done it. I've done it so many times. Lana, work tasks. Okay, thank you, Lana. Okay, and Erin, wake up and sleep. Okay, how does that work now, Erin? You put off waking up? Or you put off, okay, so you put off waking up, so you sleep. I get it, okay. I'm sorry, it takes me a while to follow along. Thank you, Erin. Thank you. So waking up, just hit that snooze button and it'll be all right. It'll all work itself out dramatically or somehow. Okay, so let's launch into this straight away. One of the biggest factors to do with procrastination, okay, so here's you, okay, and you've got all this attention and you want to survive, you want to do the best that you want to progress in life, you want to do well, you don't want to go bad, you want to do well, okay? And there's you, and you've got all these goals, and you know what, I'd love to be a musician, or I want to build my own house, I want to remodel the kitchen, I want to do things in work, you've got all these things, and you made your plan, and then you made another plan, and you probably have a book of plans. Plan here, I'm going to do a new plan. This week I'm going to do a new plan, and it's all going to get done, 100%, but it doesn't get done. Or you do one box, and then you watch a Netflix for the rest of the day. Okay, one of the biggest problems has to do with incomplete things that you've already started. You see, because what happens is, in life, to get things done, you need to have all of your attention. You need to be awake. Like, for example, Aaron, you would need to wake up to get things done. It's true, right? You know, it does actually start, you need to wake up, actually be awake and alert and have all of your attention there, okay? So you need to have all that so that you can make the right decisions, get your projects done. But the problem is there's a lot of things that are hanging around that you didn't get completed. You know, there's a lot on your plate. And so I want to help you with that tonight. What I'm going to do is give you stuff that you can use to help yourself. And to help you start off with this, I'm going to go over some very simple basics that you already know, but it's worth reminding. It's worth reminding you of these things, okay? So we'll touch on this a bit. And by the way, the reason I bring this up is because the more incomplete things you have, things that you didn't finish, that you should have finished, that you know you need to do but you didn't do it yet. And you have so many things that you didn't do that you forgot about them. You can't even remember them anymore. Okay? What happens is these things pull portions of your attention, so it kind of sticks you kind of in the past as opposed to being in the present, you know? So a part of it, and just take the smile off this fella's face for a minute, he's not as cheerful as he was, because half of his mind is on something else. He's sitting there talking to you, but he knows he needs to get the kitchen painted. Or he's sitting down with his wife to watch a movie, and he's got all these incomplete things around him that I know I need to do this, that, and the other. Okay? Anyway, we're going to have a look at this because it's important when it comes to procrastination. It's probably the biggest issue when it comes to procrastinating. It's the things that are already sitting there that haven't been done. And it just results in overwhelm, you know? It just gets on top of the person and he just, you know, too much or kind of gives up or gets into this mentality. Okay, so let's go over some really, really, really simple basics. Very simple. And things that you have to have in place if you're going to be able to complete your things and get things done now. Okay, so number one, sleep. Get sufficient sleep. You know, I recommend 7.5 to 8 hours if you can. You know, get yourself a good night's sleep. If you're tired during the day, it's not going to be great. Okay, nutritious food. Eat nutritious food regularly. I don't mind what diet you go on or what diet you're not on. As long as you eat nutritious food regularly. You know, if you're eating crisps all day, that's not going to cut it. You're going to be hungry and you're not going to be there and you're not going to get things done. Okay. And the next point is exercise. Okay, you don't have to go and join a gym tonight just because Vincent said you should. Hey, I'm going to join a gym. I'm not saying that, but a little bit of exercise. Even if you have to be walking up and down the stairs 20 times during the day, or go for a little walk with the dog, or go for a jog, or get some fresh air, you know? Bit of exercise. It's good for the body. Okay, and then last one here. Is this the last one I put down here? Oh, I just think this one is the second last. A plan. Yeah, you need to kind of put down a plan, but we'll go over that in a minute. Okay, I'll go over that in a minute because when I talk about plans, people go, oh, I've got so many plans. Can I ask a question? Does anybody have, just a little survey of you, everybody. Hello, Ashley and Therese, for joining the webinar. Does anybody have a book of plans that they made that they still have to get around to? Anybody have that? You know, like I don't know, a copybook with lists of plans for this week and next month and so forth, and they're all nicely in there. And no? Anybody? Anybody have a little plans book, but it's just not done? It's not finished? Nobody just yet, just myself. Okay, just myself. I'm the one that had that. Okay, plan. Next one is, what do we have here? Okay, yeah, this is important. And it's social media. Okay, TV. Okay, look, okay, Sonia, a list. Yes, the list. We add to the list. We take from the list. We make a new list. It's a new year. We're going to make a new list. Now, this I mentioned this because social media and TV, I think, are wonderful things. I like watching films on TV. I like watching very good movies, and I enjoy them. I enjoy social media as well. I don't have all the modern ones that people use. I use Facebook, and I scroll, and I enjoy looking at some of the posts and some of the videos. They're great. The problem is, you can spend an awful lot of time on these things. So you have to exercise a little bit of control. And we're going to go into that word control in a short period of time. Because the more time you spend on social media and TV, you know, you just have to discipline yourself a little bit. Let's just put in discipline. Social media and TV discipline. It's just to say, okay, you know what? An hour. Get it done an hour, and that's it. Right? Or before I go to bed, and that's it, you know. Don't spend too much time on social media, TV, you know, because you know, you go to bed going, okay, what did I do today? Okay, I watched 4.5 hours of Netflix. I scrolled on Facebook for 5 hours. Great, you can't exactly tick that off a list. Yes, it is good when something gets ticked off a list, Sonia. List from time to time, Paul. Okay, so just some basics. Look, you know this already. It's not rocket science, that stuff. It's just to remind you, but they're important. Now, I forgot to ask you. Yeah, it's a lot of time watching TV, Sonia. You're dead right. Now, crikey, I forgot to ask you to get a pen. Okay? Take a moment to grab a pen if there's one handy. If it's too much hassle and it takes you more than 30 seconds, don't worry about it. Alright? I'm going to pause for 30 seconds, right? Get yourself a pen and a piece of paper, right? Just grab it, an envelope and a crayon. I don't care what it is. I don't know. Anything. A piece of coal and a footpath. Something to write on. Okay. I'll give you a few more seconds to grab that. I don't know if anybody's getting a pen. Maybe you are, maybe you're not. But in any event, you can always record this down mentally. If it was my fault, I should have asked you to get a pen at the start or a pencil. Can I just do a survey? Has everybody got a pencil or a pen? Give me a thumbs up or a smiley face or some sign. Give me a sign that you have a pen. Somebody, oh yes, there's Taker, Deb, Aaron have pens. Yoo-hoo! Good stuff. Sonia has a pen. Paul has a pen. Therese has a pen. Everybody has a pen, it looks like. Karina, do you have a pen? Ashley? You need to get a pen. Yulia? Okay, look, it's fine. I put you all on the spot. Thank you very much, folks. I put you all on the spot. I want to show you this. Very important, okay? So my main webinar is based on this book here called The Problems of Work. I'm going to show you a little bit more about this in a minute because there's a special subject I want to go over with you from this manual, okay? I'll be telling you more about this at the very end as well. But what I'm going to show you right now is from this little booklet called Solutions for a Dangerous Environment. And this is a little booklet that the author of this book, Hubbard, put together to help people to cope with stress and to achieve goals in their life and to get things done. Okay. Now, part of the problem with getting things done, okay, is a thing called confront. Okay? And to confront something means to face it. Okay, this is my effort at a cube. Okay, that's a cube. It's to face it without avoiding it. Okay? So when you want to get things done, you have to face them. You have to confront them. Okay, Ashley, thank you. So I want to show you one other thing here. One can safely assume that there's always something about a situation the person can confront. There's always something about the situation that a person can confront. So if you have a pile of stuff, okay, you've got a pile of stuff to do, you know, tons of stuff, you don't know where to start, and you've got so many things to do that you can't do anything, or that it's too much. You know, I know these are all my goals, these are all the things I need to do, but it's just too much for me. It's too much. I'm overwhelmed. I can't tackle it. And what happens is the person doesn't face it, doesn't confront it. And to confront means, by which we mean to easily face without flinching. Flinching means to kind of come back or to avoid. Confront. So one of the biggest reasons why you don't confront the things that need to get done is there's just like too much involved. You just can't face it. Oh, you know, sometimes when I might be really busy during the day, I've got loads of stuff done, and then I've got loads and loads of stuff to do, and I'm like, oh, just lying on the couch, just going, oh, do you know what? It's too much. It's too much. And my wife comes in and says, Vinny, did you get that bank thing done today? And oh God, no, I didn't, because like sometimes it's just too much. So this is a little piece of data for you, okay? One can safely assume that there is always something about a situation the person can confront. There's always something, by which we mean easily faced without flinching. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to have you get your pen and your piece of paper, and we're going to do this little exercise right now. You're not going to do the final step because that's something that you're going to do after the webinar. So here's what we're going to do, and this is going to help you. And by the way, the whole purpose of this, and my purpose for you, is to basically help. Sometimes when people hear me saying, oh, Vincent, you want to help me, but what's in it for you? What's the catch? You really want to help? What's the catch? Honestly, yes, I'm going to promote a book at the end and so forth, but it also is to help you. All right? Because I like to help people. I like to help. And I like seeing people doing really well. I like seeing people successful and thriving and healthy and prosperous and a good family life and, you know, doing well. I like to see that. I don't like to see people sad and failing and going up and down and introverted. I don't like that. Okay. So, step one. Get your pen and piece of paper out. First thing I want you to do, and you've got like a minute or maximum a minute and a half to do this. Write down on a piece of paper a short list of the problems you have in your life. Okay? Start. Short list of problems you have in your life. Okay, so just take a moment, write that down. And you can, when you're done, actually this would be a good one, when you're done, put a little message in the chat saying done. So short list, okay? And one word so that we can make this nice and efficient, okay? One word like house or relationship or, you know, I have to get the cat neutered or whatever it is. Or I have to get my hair done. Okay, Deb, thank you. So write down on a piece of paper a short list of the problems you have in your life. Let me know when you're done. Okay, Therese, Paul, thank you. Ashley, Aaron, great. Okay. Very good. I almost have everybody. Anyway, for everybody who's still doing it, then pop it down when you're done. Okay, and we will move on. Now, next step. So next question is, which one of those is the easiest for you to confront? Which one of those is the easiest for you to confront or face easily? Which one of those is the easiest for you to face? Write that down. Okay. And would you please let me know when you're done? Write it down. Give me a thumbs up or a D. Okay, Deb, thank you. So write down which one of these is the easiest for you to confront. Which one of those is the easiest one for you to face without having to avoid it or shrinking away? Okay, Ashley, Aaron, Paul, Therese, Sonia, and Dia. Great. Deb, fantastic. Okie dokie. Excellent. Now, next one. Write down what you absolutely know for sure you could do about that last thing you wrote down. Okay? So about this one here, what do you know for sure you can do about it? Write down what you absolutely know for sure you could do about that last thing that you wrote down. Okay, Deb? All right, Therese. Thank you. Let me know when you're done. Thumbs up, done, whatever. Paul. Thank you, Paul. So write down what you absolutely know for sure you could do about that last thing you wrote down. I'm going to be asking you for examples in a moment, Aaron. Let me actually, Sonia. Yeah, okay. So let's say, for example, Aaron, Ashley, done. Okay, so if let's say you had 3 things that you need to get done. Okay, you wrote down your list of problems. I have to wash the car, clean the house, and bring the cat to the vet. All right? The easiest one to face is bringing the cat to the vet. What do I know for sure I can do about it? Put 10 euros a week away so I can save enough money to bring the cat to the vet. Okay, that's probably bizarre. 20 euros. Okay, and it's just that little example for you. Okay, that's fantastic. Now, this one here, you wrote down what do you know for sure you can do about that, and you wrote down something. Now, you see what you've written down at the bottom of your page? Do it. Now, I'm not asking you to do it right now. Ideally, when you're doing this, you have got that list and you do it. So, after the webinar tonight or tomorrow, but don't put it off, get it done. Just that thing done. And as you do that thing, that will be one thing done, you will find that your confront starts to expand. And you'll think to yourself, I can now do this, I can now do this, I can now do this. It improves your ability to face more things. And when you do that, then you are going to handle things that come up instead of avoiding them and running from them. Or closing your eyes to what's in front of you. So you get one thing done. This is just a short list that you made. Do that one thing, get it done. Do it tonight after the webinar or tomorrow. Get it done. When you've done it, you will find that your confront has just increased a little bit and you'll be able to take on more. Now, if it is a case where you're finding it, it's just too much again, do this again. And it's restoring your ability to confront. Let me just read out this for you, right? Use of this principle can be of enormous assistance to people in social work, in leading groups, in teaching and lecturing, and many other areas. And here's the point. Don't tell people about problems that they know they cannot do anything about and expect them to be enthusiastic about accomplishing anything. So you go into a group of employees and say, okay guys, we're all going to, guys selling cars, we're going to sell 20 cars today. But they haven't sold the car in a year. And they can't even confront the idea of selling cars. So you build them up, you build up the confront on a gradient. And you can use this with anybody in your life to help them when they're being overwhelmed. So somebody mentioned about having the family, and I wrote it down here. Oh, house projects. Yeah, these kind of things. Yeah, with other people, you can help people this way. Get them to do a little list and just get them to focus on what they can confront and what they can do about that one thing that they can confront. Okay? So do that after the webinar tonight. A little bit of practice for you, a little bit of exercise. Okay, so, and again, the reason I'm showing you this is to help you to just handle the incomplete cycles, incomplete things that you have already gathered, and that will enable you to complete more things that you need to get done. Right? So you can use that straight away. Okay, now let's move on to the next little part. Okay. And this is this horrible, horrible, nasty word. Oh, hang on. Yeah. Oh, I want to read one last little line here. It's a beautiful little line. It's from this same booklet. Okay. Most people. Okay. Yes, you're sort of breaking it down. Yeah, exactly. Listen to this and see, does it relate? Because it has related to me so many times. Most people stop giving advice because the advice they give is never followed. Has anybody ever had that? You're trying to help somebody, so you tell them how to do this, 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 and this. You give them 5 things to do. It's the right thing to do, but they never do it. Anybody ever had that? Okay, Sonia. Anybody else? Very good. You're trying to help somebody. You give them things that they need to do, but they just don't do it. They just simply don't do it. Okay, well anyway, no, Sonia has, right? But if one followed the rules laid out here, he would be a very successful advisor. Okay, Therese. So what's happening in most cases, you're going above the person's ability to confront. The person, you're telling them to do something, and they can't face it, so they just don't do it. So you build it up on a gradient, you find something that they can face, write down what they know for sure they can do about it, and get them to do it. And you'll be very, very successful at helping other people. Okay, so that's that. Fantastic little booklet. I'll show you more about it at the end. Now, the next little bit I want to go over, and by the way, you can use this to help people in your life, and to restore your ability to help. I know for sure that every single person watching this webinar, yes, you're here for yourself to learn more, but you're learning so that you can help other people. Because you, like me, like to help people. That's why you're here. You want to help people and be more effective at it. If you use the simple technique, you're going to be able to help more people more effectively. So let's move on to the next thing, procrastinating, in terms of this nasty, nasty word, horrible word. Horrible word. We're putting a different color now, and that is control. Okay. All right. If you are not getting things done, you're putting things off, You have a whole pile of things that you haven't gotten done. You have a stack of stuff built up. It means you're not really in control of what you're supposed to do in your life. You're not in control of it. If you're a business manager and you have 10 employees working for you and things just are not getting done, one could say that one is not in control of his staff. Now, of course, and I don't know what it's like for everybody else who's from a different nation here, but my experience with Irish people, and for me personally as well, somebody tries to control you, it's like, no! Don't control me. Don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me what to do. I just won't do it. You know, it's a big kind of it's a sensitive kind of thing, you know. Go up to an Irish person and tell him, listen, you, Joe, go there and put that on the thing. He's like, I'll do it in my own spare time, thank you very much. Ask me nicely to do it. Beg and I'll do it, you know. Anyway. Okay, so I want to bring up this little subject of control. So I want to tell you what is control, and this is the very first thing I'm going to read out from you. Now, this is from The Problems of Work. Now, this is the book I'm going to recommend to you at the end. Yes, it's about work, but it's got vital data to help you to be able to handle different situations in your life, from getting things done, to relationships, to making life fun, these things, okay? So, control may be divided into 3 separate parts. Okay, and we have start. If you want to control a car, I mean, you've got to start it first. If you can't start the car, you're not going to be able to control it. So starting things is important. To control a car, you have to start it. Change. So when you've started your car, you're going to have to be able to change its direction, okay? And have it keep moving from one position to another. So there has to be change, okay? And the last one, start, change, and last one is stop. That is what control is. If you're driving a car, you're moving it around, okay, you've started it, you've changed its position, okay? If you can't stop the car, you are not going to be in control of it. All right? If your car just keeps driving and driving, you get into your car, you start it up, and you just can't stop. It just keeps driving and driving and driving. I mean, you'll be driving forever until you run out of petrol in the middle of nowhere. So, start, change, and stop. Now, unfortunately, we've all had experience with this getting messed up. Like, some people are totally obsessed about starting things. Oh, I want to start a new project. I want to start a new business. I'm going to create a new song. But they can't change it. They can't keep it going. They can't keep it moving. And they can't stop it. Some people can't start things. They're not creators. They don't create things. They just do things and keep doing and doing and doing and doing and doing. And then other people purely focus on stopping everything. Stop that, stop this, stop the other. But good control is a balance of these 3 things. So let me give you a little example of what control is. Oh, and start, change, and stop. I'll give you another little phrase here as well. Also, start, change, and stop also comprise a cycle of action. Equals a cycle of action. Okay? Basically means it starts, it changes, and then stop. Okay? Start, change, and stop. And here's 2 examples of this. The cycle of action, or control, is seen in the turning of a simple wheel. The wheel starts, and then at any given spot on it, changes position, and the wheel is stopped. It does not matter how long the wheel is in motion, it still follows this cycle of action. So a cycle of action is start, change, and stop. That's one cycle of action. Cycle comes from circle. Another example. A man walking a short distance starts, changes the position of his body, and stops the body. He has, if he does this, completed a cycle of action, and that is control. So he starts the body, move it over here, and stop. Okay? Cycle of action, start, change, and stop. On a longer span, a company starts, continues, and at some date, early or late, ceases to exist. For example, there was a big department store in Dublin city centre called Cleary's. It was known for years, going on for years and years and years. Somebody started, it was going, and then bang, it's gone. It's now gone. It has stopped. So that's an example of a company, start, change, and stop, and that is the cycle of control. Okay, now, the problem with control is that one considers there is bad control, okay, and then there's good control. Okay. Let me just read to you a little example of, say, good control. If you're an employee. Okay. So let's, this is just an example that the author gives about how this might work, okay? To give you some idea of how far this might go in life, you might get the idea of being moved around in a room by somebody. Okay? So somebody's in a room moving you around. This somebody would tell you to go to the desk. Then they would tell you to go to a chair. Then would tell you to go to the door. Each time he tells you to go somewhere, you have to start yourself, change your body's position, and stop yourself. Now, oddly enough, you would not mind this if you knew that somebody was telling you to do it and you were capable of performing the action and you were not receiving orders in such a wise or a way as to interrupt your obedience of the command before you completed it. So somebody's asking you to do things and allowing you to finish what you started. Now, next exercise. Give me an example of somebody in your life that you don't mind doing things for. You don't mind doing things for. You're totally happy. Somebody says to you, come up and says, listen, would you go down to the shop and get me a coffee? Okay? Give me an example of somebody in your life that you don't mind when they get you to do things and then you do it and then it's done. Sonia, friend, anybody else? An example of somebody in your life that you don't mind doing things for. Sonia, friend, okay. Paul, mother. Therese, Aaron, don't have, okay. Ashley, your parents. Okay, lovely. Okay, very good. Now, what you will find with those people that you mentioned are these people let you finish. They let you finish what you've done, boom, and it's done. That's, obviously they might say thanks or whatever. Okay, Therese, thank you. They might say thank you to let you finish the cycle of action. Hey Joe, can you get me a cup of tea? Cup of tea. There you go. Thank you very much. End of cycle. Start, change, stop, done. That's it. It's over. So you can finish it and you can move on. All right. I've had lots of good bosses in my life who've said, Vincent, we need this, this, and this done. I'm like, okay, dum, dum, dum. There you go, done. Boom, and I can move on. Very happy to work for people who are like that. They let you finish what you started. Now, let's take the second example here. Now, so we're going back to the room situation where the person is in the room, moving you around the room. Let us say, for instance, that somebody told you to go to the desk, but before you arrived at the desk, told you to go to a chair. But before you arrived at the chair, told you to go to the door, and then claimed you were wrong in not having gone to the desk. You would be, at that time, confused. This would be bad control because it does not permit you to finish any cycle of action before another cycle of action is demanded of you. Thus, or therefore, your cycles of action become involved or complicated and a confusion results. In other words, what happens is, here's Joe. He's trying to get that done there. That doesn't get finished, so that sticks up here as an incomplete. You want to get that done? No, didn't finish that one. That sticks here. This one? No, that didn't get done. And before you know it, it all starts to pile up in his head. And so anybody now coming up to this guy, asking him to do something new, he's like, no, don't tell me what to do. I know what control is like. It's bad. But in actual fact, as you have given me an example, control can be good, depending on how it's used. Okay, so bad control is not letting somebody finish their cycle of action. Not letting somebody start, change, and stop. For example, if you have children, I've got 2 kids. Well, they're kind of growny now. But you tell the kids, hey, son, go over there and pick up that piece of paper that you threw on the ground. And he goes over to pick it up, and you go, hang on a second, hang on, come back here for a minute. What about that wet patch over there you spilled the milk? Go over there and clean that up. Goes over to clean it. Hang on, don't clean that yet. What did I tell you about getting cloths? Give me back with that cloth. And before you know it, the kid gets confused. Now, I've made this mistake. I've made this mistake myself several times. But it's bad control because you're not letting somebody finish a cycle of action. Now, the next exercise, I want you to give me an example of somebody that you don't like control from. You don't like it. You just don't want it. You don't like it. No, thank you. You don't like controlling you. You don't like them telling you what to do. Can you give me an example? Can you think of somebody in your life that you don't like controlling you or telling you what to do? You don't like doing things for. Anybody at all. Pop your example into the chat. I had an example, I gave this a few times in my webinars. I used to work picking up glasses in a kind of a venue, you know. And the bar manager at that time was, I just hated working for him because every time I went to do something, he was always kind of saying, no, don't do that now. What are you doing that now? Don't be putting those glasses there, put them over there. What are you doing with that now? Put this, you know, and I just felt like I couldn't finish one thing at a time. I don't mind receiving orders. If somebody is clear, listen, can you please get me this? It needs to be done today. Great, I'll get it done. Bang. But not somebody who comes in and keeps interrupting you in the middle of it. My approach now is if I'm doing something and somebody says, oh, come in and do this, come in and do that, I'd say, look, yeah, I understand. Is it absolutely urgent? Because I need to get this done now. I'm in the middle of something. I'm in the middle of something. Let me finish. Let me finish what I'm in the middle of. And when you do that, when you insist on telling people, let me finish what I'm doing, what happens is these disappear and they turn into dones. It's a done deal. And then you're more able to confront and face the future. So when you are being controlled in a way that is not very pleasant or whatever, it doesn't let you finish, just tell the person, I'm in the middle of something, let me finish this, and then I'll do that next thing. Now look, obviously sometimes urgent situations come up and you might need to occasionally drop something and handle something else. But that shouldn't be the norm. You should get your things done, bang, it's done, next thing's done, next thing's done, next thing done, it's a done deal. Done. And then you don't have to think about it and there's going to be more of you, more of your awareness ready for the next task. Okay, we have 2 examples. Mambule, hello Mambule. Great to have you, your partner. Okay. And look, a simple thing like that, because you know sometimes myself and my wife, she's like, hey Vincent, did you do this? Did you also do this? Did you do that? Okay, can I finish answering your first question? I'll answer your first question and then I'll answer your second one. And she's now fine with that. We've kind of ironed that bit out, you know. Good. Okay, probably a manager I had years ago when I worked in Duns. Okay, yeah, because sometimes managers, I'm not saying anything about this particular manager, I don't know them, but sometimes managers don't know how to manage. They don't know how to start, change, and stop somebody with manners, with positivity. With manners, positivity, and certainty. Okay? Very good. Ashley, anyone that has no gratitude, really good example. And you know something, Ashley? You do something for somebody. Somebody says, make me a cup of tea. You make them a cup of tea, and they say nothing. They don't say thanks or, oh, that's great. That's what's missing for these people. If they just gave you the acknowledgement, it would let you finish the cycle of action. It's like when you're talking to somebody and you say, hey, Joe, I really like your hat. Joe? Has anybody seen Joe? Joe says nothing. By remaining silent, he doesn't let you finish your cycle of action. This is why people who don't acknowledge you, they're not always the most comfortable to be around, because they don't let you finish your cycles of action. That can also apply to communication. Okay, so it's a really good one, Ashley, a very good one, because you know, when you do something for somebody, you send it back, done. You at least expect a thumbs up, or I got it, or thank you, or something like that. It's not that you need it, you don't need it, but it's a nice finish to the cycle of action. So really good one, Ashley. Okay, now, so last one I want to mention. So the bottom line is that you can be in control of your life. And it's not a bad thing if you have staff to be in control of your staff, as long as you're letting them finish their cycles of action and exercising good control. Because if you don't, it's going to result in hatred. They're not going to be working for you very long. Okay, now, last exercise before we finish off for the evening. When you are procrastinating and putting things off, and when you are not in control of your schedule, and you're not really in control of the things that you're getting done, you need to get this done, but you don't bother, and then by the end of the week, it's all stacked up and stacked up and stacked up, and then you have to urgently rush around. When these things are happening, and you let this build-up happen, big stack of incomplete things, and oh, you're watching Netflix, you're too busy. I'm too busy watching Amazon Prime, Netflix, Apple TV, Now TV, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and all the other stuff. I'm too busy with that stuff. You just don't get anything done, and then it's all a big rush. When this is going on, you're more likely to make mistakes and make errors. If you're not in control, you can make errors. For example, when I was learning how to drive, my dad taught me. Actually, he was a very good instructor, God rest his soul. But I wasn't really in control of the car, and I stopped it on a bend in the middle of the road. Very, very dangerous. Okay? Almost gave my dad a heart attack on the spot. Not a good thing. Okay? Another example. Riding a bicycle. Could ride a bicycle no problem. One day, decided, you know what? I'll just let go of the handlebars. Perfect. Bike went out of my control. I ended up on the ground, not very soft. Okay? Another example. Oh yes. I wasn't in control of my schedule. Okay? Of what I was doing. Planning things out. I wasn't in control of the plan. And so I missed a close relative's birthday. Didn't get there. Very big upset. Okay? So I've caused a lot of upsets. I've made mistakes. Now, I want to just throw this out to you. Has anybody any example that comes to mind that you want to share? You don't have to, but if you want to share, it'd be nice. Of an example of a mistake that you made because you weren't in control. Now, I'm not saying to you that you have to be in control of your wife and your kids, this bad control. It's good control. Okay, I'm talking about here. Friendliness, happiness, getting people to get things done, you know. I'm going to ask you, can you give me an example of something that you did that you felt, oh no, I shouldn't have done that. I I shouldn't have done that. Ah, I really shouldn't have done that. The car tax was due. I'm making this up, by the way. The car tax was due. I never bothered renewing it. I got stopped by the police and I got fined €500. I don't know. Does anybody want to share an example of something that you did that was like, oh no, I shouldn't have done that, because you weren't really in control of things? And if you don't worry. I'm not going to put you on the spot. If you do, perfect. If not, don't worry about it. Okay? But anyway, at least you can see, if you're not in control of things and your schedule and getting things done, it leads to mistakes and things going out of time, leaving time. Okay, so I'm going to give you a little summary on what I've gone over here. Procrastination has to do with the pile of incomplete things that you're carrying around with you. How you handle that determines how you're able to handle and get things done in present time. So make sure you have enough sleep, food, get a bit of exercise, discipline, go to bed on time, don't go overboard on social media or TV. Okay? I gave you that little exercise earlier on from this booklet, which is how to help yourself and how to help another person to increase their ability to face things. Because if you can face things more and more, you're more likely to get them done. Okay? And what else did I say? Control. Control means start, change, and stop. So when you're doing something, finish it. Get it done. If it's done, don't leave these half cycles around, If it's done, it's done. It's not going to play on your mind. Now, what I've touched on in this particular webinar is really just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to procrastination. There is so much to learn and to do, and a lot of information that would help you. And so, as I mentioned during the webinar, I want to promote two things. I am going to recommend that you get yourself a copy of this book, The Problems of Work. Now, it's titled The Problems of Work, and I know, like, some of the examples I got was goals, house projects, work, and waking up in the morning, okay? But this will give you the basics that you need to know in order to help yourself to be more efficient. That's the first point, how to increase efficiency. These are just a couple of things. How to improve relationships with colleagues, customers, how to regain your energy, because if you've got your enthusiasm back and you're not exhausted all the time, that will help you to be able to get things done now. Do it now. Oh, there's a beautiful quote from this author. If you are a lover of ease, the kind that wears holes in his heels, resting them on, I don't know what he says, on tables, come loaf with me, do it now. Anyway, I don't know the exact quote, but it's, do it now, get the job done now, don't leave it until tomorrow. Okay? Now, if you get this book tonight, this booklet is going to be given to you for free. And the booklet is all those there's a load of different techniques to help you to improve and get rid of stress in your life. And there's also a free online course that goes with this booklet. So if you get it tonight, then you get that as well. Now, before we finish off, I'm going to put up a poll. It's just a couple of questions. So don't log off just yet. Don't leave me. Just fill out this little poll that's going to go up. When you finish the poll, okay, anybody who selects that they're interested in the book, my host Sylvie will send you personally the link if you're interested, okay? So fill in the poll for me and hold on, don't log off yet. So that's going to be filled up now. Just fill in that for me, please. And then I want to say one very important thing to you before we go about an event that's coming up. So that should be showing up on your screen now. It's like 2 or 3 questions. If you don't mind just filling it out. It gives me good feedback as well about the webinar. And then we will wrap up, okay? So just a couple of questions of how was the webinar, you know, how did you find it? So just give yourself just a moment. We'll just leave it open there now for another minute or two. Okay. Thank you, Lana. Don't go yet. We're almost done. I just want to say one or two last things to you, Lana. Please stay. I know it's 9 o'clock and I told you it'd be finished at 8:45, but anyway. Grand, and you're very welcome, Lana. So just give it another minute. Give it another minute. And then I've got one last thing to say to you. And also what I'm going to do is, if anybody wants to hang on afterwards for any questions, I can hang on for those too. Okay, Ashley, fantastic. Don't go anywhere just yet, Ashley. Don't log off. Don't leave me. Okay, that's perfect. We're all done. Okay, folks, thank you so much. So for anybody who said that they're interested in the book, Sylvie is going to personally send you the link to that book so that you can avail of it and avail of the offer tonight, okay? Now, I want to tell you something. I appreciate everybody who has come to this webinar and stayed with me until the very end. I want to let you know that on the 20th of this month, in the afternoon, I am doing a live free workshop in our centre here in Fir House in Dublin. So I would like to invite you all to come along to that. We're going to be going over the basics of self-improvement and give you some steps that you can follow to start understanding yourself more and start improving yourself and becoming more stable in life. So that's the 20th of May. Actually, there's a whole afternoon of events planned along that particular day. But I'll be delivering a workshop free for everybody live. So I'd really love you to come along to that. Okay, folks. So while Sylvie is actually contacting anybody who's filled in the thing, does anybody have any questions that you would like to add to the webinar? Either of what we've gone over or what we didn't go over. Anything. Do you have any questions about anything? And if you do, could you please pop them into the chat? I just want to give that opportunity to people. If you have any questions at all that you have, and you are very, very welcome, Sonia. And thank you so much for being here. Absolute pleasure to have you. Okay. All right. So, folks, no problem. We'll wrap up. I don't see any questions coming in at the moment, so we will wrap up the webinar. I want to say thank you to everybody who has watched this on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Really appreciate your time. I know we don't have you very live here, but at least you were watching. Thank you very much. And for everybody on Zoom who stayed with me till the bitter end, so thank you, Paul, Sonia, Aaron, Ashley, and Mumbule. Thank you so much. And if you would like to book an appointment, as Sylvia just mentioned, don't leave just yet. Sylvia will reach out to you, or in fact, you can actually send her a message directly. Okay? So the chat is going to stay open. If you have any questions at all, you can let me know, and that opportunity is going to be still there for you. Okay? So I will say good night to you. The chat will stay open, as I said. Sylvia will be still on. Good night. Take care. And I hope to see you on the 20th of May or at the next free webinar. Okay? Bye.